Oh my god, have you heard about the total solar eclipse that's coming on August 21st, 2017? The end is near!
To start off, let's review what a total solar eclipse is.
According to NASA, during a solar eclipse, the moon casts a shadow onto Earth. A total solar eclipse is only visible from a small area on Earth. The people who see the total solar eclipse are in the center of the moon's shadow when it hits the Earth. The sky then becomes very dark as if it were night. For a total solar eclipse to take place, the sun, the moon, and the Earth must be in a direct line.
So basically, the moon is covering the sun to create that cool dark sky, or more accurately, we are all in one big shadow.
If you've looked in the news, then it seems that this eclipse seems to be a pretty big deal, which is because it's so rare. But that creates another question. Why are total solar eclipses so rare? Well, it seems to stem from the fact that the moon is at a tilted orbit to the Earth. So sometimes when an eclipse happens, the moon can actually be at the top or bottom of its tilted orbit. And so the shadow isn't actually on the Earth. In other words, the moon is so high or low in its orbit that the shadow itself misses the Earth, goes under it or above it. And sometimes part of the eclipse actually hits the Earth while the rest misses it.
But what if the moon was in the middle of its orbit when it casts its shadow? Wouldn't that be an eclipse at least sort of frequently?
Well, it would, but you also have to note the fact that the moon's orbit is elliptical.
What does this have to do with anything? Well, consider the fact that during a total solar eclipse, the sun is completely covered up by the moon.
And on a side note, isn't that kind of weird? I mean, shouldn't the sun be way bigger than the moon in the sky? I mean, considering the fact that the sun is way bigger than the moon and everything else in the solar system for that matter? Well, it would be, but the sun is also much farther away than the moon. And it just so happens that these two factors perfectly balance each other out to make them the same size in the sky when you view them from Earth. And in case you're interested in the numbers, the moon is actually 400 times smaller than the sun, but the sun is 400 times further away. This, like I said, makes them the same size.
With me, I got the moon, I got the sun. The sun, twice as big as the moon. The moon, twice as close. This makes them the same size when I line them up perfectly, and that's an eclipse.
Now, to get back to the moon's orbit being elliptical, this means that sometimes the moon will actually be closer or farther away from the Earth, which would ruin that perfect distance that the moon is from the Earth. Now, for example, the moon might get much farther away from the Earth and look much smaller than the sun, making that eclipse look kind of weird. This is actually called an annular solar eclipse. When the moon is closest in its elliptical orbit, then you get that full, perfect, blocked out eclipse.
So, all of this sounds plenty rare, but the final kicker is the fact that if you're at the wrong place, then only part of the shadow will hit you, which ruins the entire eclipse. So, you have to make sure that you're in the darkest part of the shadow, or the umbra.
The only problem being is that this space is small. We're talking 1% of the Earth's total surface small, which is due to the fact that the sun is huge. As it tries to shine around the moon's edges, a lot of the light, a lot of that big sunlight tries to go through, and it does. And when it does, it disrupts the shadow. It makes it fainter and it makes it smaller. And the shadow is the entire eclipse. That's where you want to be. And this means that after all these factors come together, the total area for the eclipse is small, like I said. And it might appear in an undesirable location, like the ocean, since I don't think that you're gonna try to go to the middle of the Atlantic and see an eclipse. Just me though. This would still suck, but it sucks even more because the ocean is more than twice as abundant as land.
That's right. Even after all of these things came together to create this shadow, it might just appear in the ocean, which is what creates the rarity of a total solar eclipse, which is so rare that if you were in some location where an eclipse happened, it would take 360 years just for the eclipse to happen again in the same location.
However, this is also where a misconception happens, as most people believe total solar eclipses happen every 360 years in general. Actually, they occur every 18 months. But to have a 100-mile shadow, that's 1% the size of the Earth, occur in the same exact spot again, that's what takes 360 years, as you would expect. That means you should find a way to see this upcoming total solar eclipse, this August 21st, 2017. And also wear the correct eye protection for this event, as it's still harmful until the sun is completely blocked, which only lasts a couple of minutes. So make sure to wear the correct eye protection and never ever stare into an eclipse, as it's still harmful until, like I just said, the sun is completely blocked, which only lasts a couple of minutes. I hope that was enough to warn you, because I don't want to be responsible for your eyeballs melting out of their sockets. Well, I mean, all I really left to say is, life is an experiment, and you are the scientist. Thanks for watching. Bye. Check out some of my other videos and click that sexy picture of me to subscribe. Click that picture of my friend Matthew to check out his channel. And lastly, click that rectangle to see the rest of the playlist.